yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. Hey everyone, there's the House, and this is my first video in a series I plan to make. I know I have a lot of series going on my channel, but I also want to alternate a little bit between all these series because I don't want you to get tired of a specific game, right? This is why I have several series on my channel that I continue just whenever I think it's a good time to continue it. And I really want to play One Deck Dungeon on the channel. This is actually the expansion, the standalone expansion, so that's the sequel of the original. The original I don't have in physical form yet, unfortunately, because I couldn't find it. I hope I will find it at some point. But this is the expansion that I like a little bit more too. Anyway, and what I want to do today is just kind of show you what the game is about, and also I need your help to decide on a hero you want to play. So this is a dungeon crawler for 1 to 2 players. I haven't played it with 2 players yet because it's a great solo game. It's usually always in my top solo list as well because it's just a great game. So it's a really small compact box. You have your rules in here that are pretty well explained and laid out. So pretty well done. And then you also have your heroes up here. Let me get those out. So you have your regular 6 heroes for the expansion here. The Alchemist, the Hunter, Druid, Warden, Slayer, and also as a bonus Caliana, which is like an elf fairy type kind of hero. And then what I also did is I also printed out the heroes from the first game, because you can play this game with pretty much all heroes, also with these. But these are the ones from the main game, from the first iteration that I don't have yet. Unfortunately, I still hope that I can find it quite soon. We will look at the heroes in a little bit, because this is where I need your help. And then we have turn reference card here, and how the boss fight works. So just for you to see again how does everything work. Totally fine. And then you also have a little campaign sheet here, because that's where the interesting thing of the game comes in. You see that I already have filled out a few things here, because I'm playing both games. I'm playing the sequel here in physical form, but I'm also playing the first iteration on mobile, and I will also play it on PC soon probably. I hope I will find a copy of the first iteration in physical form soon, because it's much more fun. And what you do is you just go through the dungeon, and then you can see, okay, which dungeon are you, what kind of dungeon did you do? And then also, did you complete the floor? How often did you level up? Defeated the boss and everything, and that gives you a check mark, so to speak. And then you can fill in these little dots here, and that means that you get more skills. That you pretty much level up, right, between those dungeons. That means you can replay the game over and over again, but always with more and better skills, because there are different bosses, different dungeons, and at first you will not be able to, or probably not be able, or have a hard time defeating the harder bosses, but when you level up, that is not a problem anymore. So, and this is what we would do to play the game. So this is how you can turn it into some kind of campaign, right? So we have like the components here. These are potions. These are the cubes that symbolize potions that you can use. These are poison tokens, because in Forest of Shadows you can actually get poisoned. That was not a mechanism in the first game. And then this is the main thing of the game, right? Because it is a dice chucker. You have a lot of dice here. What happens is you have a hero. Let me get one here. For example, the Hunter. That's the one I'm playing through at the moment. And you see you have attack here, you have agility, then you have magic and also health. And for attack are the yellow dice. Here agility or walking, whatever, moving is the pink dice. And then you have the magic one, which is the blue dice. And the black ones, they are wilds that you can use for most things. And when you try to complete a challenge here, then you either then you roll all these dice you have here, and if you defeat monsters during your dungeon delve, then you can do different things. You can either get skills here or potions that you put under your character, or you can get experience points up here that you put by your experience card, so you know whether you level up or not, because when you level up you get more stuff. Or you can put it here on the left to increase your skills. And increasing your skills means using more dice. And that is pretty much the mechanism how you level up and get stronger and everything. And that is really, really cool. At some point, you're just able to chuck 10, 15 dice for an encounter. And that is just really satisfying. That is a really great feeling. And then you also have your health counters, which is these cute little hearts that you can kind of see in the camera. But you will see it in more detail when we actually play through the game. So, and I really like to play through the game because there are different enemies here, different bosses and everything. Can I find the bosses now immediately? No, I can't. But there are, you see here, different dungeons, so to speak. You have the Mudlands here. We have the Realm of Venom, the Vile Roots, and so on. So we have different dungeons here, and I think on the other side there are the bosses for these dungeons, and these get harder and harder, right? So these have different difficulties, and so it makes sense to play the game more often to actually level up your character. And this is where you come in, because I will start with the series quite soon, and what I would like you to do is to decide which of these characters we will play with. So now we have a little issue because I will definitely want you to vote. I will put a poll. When this video goes up, there will be a poll on my channel in the community tab, and you can then vote for whichever hero you like the most. But you can only have 5 options in the YouTube community polls, and there are 6 characters. So I'm not quite sure yet how I will do it. I will most likely only if I include 5 characters, or maybe group 2 characters together that are a little bit similar. Might do that. I'm not quite sure yet. Let's take a look at all the characters. Let's start with the Hunter first, because that's the one I'm playing through in my current campaign here. The Hunter is pretty equally skilled regarding attack and agility. Magic is not very high, of course, it's a Hunter, but quite a lot of health. So pretty sturdy, and it does have a few special skills here. So for example, I can increase any die by 2. That is pretty cool. So that is a pretty cool skill. And then also we have a heroic feat here that we can spend a time. Time is going through the dungeon, right? There's a specific timer we have until we are done with the dungeon. But then we can place an additional black die on any challenge box, which is really cool. So the Hunter does have some pretty strong skills. I like her a lot. Oh, also by the way, if you didn't realize yet, all the heroes are heroines. They are all female, and that already was the case in the first iteration, so that's a pretty cool touch. Then we have the Alchemist. The Alchemist is also equally skilled in attack and agility, but less than the Hunter, but of course has more magic for that. So also 5 points, 7 points altogether here, but more magic, and also I think the same amount of health. Yes. And then we have here that potion. The Alchemist does work with potions, of course. So you can put potion tokens, you can put on here, and then you can spend these tokens again, so to speak, just without the healing effects, because there are potions that don't heal you, that give you other effects. So that is pretty cool. That is pretty versatile. So and here you can spend 2 mana. And for 2 mana, you can either roll a pink or a yellow die, which is good because that's not your strength here at the moment. And you can spend a lot of mana, right? So if you really skill up mana, you can do a lot of things here. That is pretty cool. That's the Alchemist. Then we have the Druid. The Druid is pretty bad regarding attacking. Agility is okay, but she is really good regarding magic. Makes sense because the Druid, and also health is very high. I think they all have the same health, actually. Oh, I thought they were different, because I think in the main game they were different, actually. Let me check that in a second. And then we have a heroic feat here. You can also spend time again, so go to the dungeon quicker to roll more die, and spend even more time to roll even more die. That's pretty good too. Transformation. That is pretty nice. You just can't use it for the boss. And then also you can swap the values of any 2 of your non-black dice. That is really cool too. Imagine you need a good attack and you don't have one, but you roll a good, for example, magic die, then you can just swap the values. That is really good. So really versatile as well. And you see, they all play very different regarding their skills and also their abilities here, right? That's pretty cool. Okay, and then we have the Warden. The Warden is really strong on attack, of course. Agility not that great. Magic, it's okay. And same health. Heroic feat, you can roll any or all of your dice stored here, and then you can store a black die here when you take the experience of a card, and you can store several dice here, and that is pretty nice because you can score up to 2 black die here that you can use as a wild. Kind of as a wild, you can't use it for everything, but almost everything. And that is pretty nice. And here, that is also nice too, methodical. You can just spend 1 time, so go through the dungeon quicker, but prevent a health loss, so prevent damage. That is really nice as well. Then we have the Slayer. The Slayer is okay on attack, bad on magic, but really agile. And we have the Heroic feat. Roll any or all of your dice stored here. Store a black die here when you complete an encounter. And you can store up to 2 dice here. So that's pretty similar to what the Warden does, just not regarding experience, but regarding fighting encounters. Because there are also trap encounters. And then here, Whirlwind, increase a yellow die and a blue die by 2 each. That is really good too, but you have to spend a pink die for that. But I mean, you have so many pink dice, so that is actually a pretty good thing too, right? I mean, you just need a pink die with a 1 or whatever, something that you can't really use anyway, and then that is free real estate here. And then we have the Hunter. We already had that one, right? Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here, but actually we already had the Hunter. And then we have Caliana. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to include her, because we only have 5 options in the poll, so we might use one of these characters, but we can still do that too. Discard the first 3 hearts that would be placed on Caliana each turn or boss round, and then you can spend the time for each heart discarded. But if you have 1 heart on her, like 1 damage on her, then the game ends immediately, right? So this one is really tough to play, actually, right? Because you go through the dungeon so quick, you have hardly time to level up. And then here you can spend magic to add something to your yellow and pink dice. So that is pretty nice too, but you see, like, attack is really bad, agility is really bad, she only has magic, she has no health, she's really tough to play. So I included her now in my showcase, so you saw all the heroines, but I might leave her out in the poll actually. But yeah, that is pretty much it. Also, all the heroines have like the 2-player side on the other side. That means they are just weaker, right? So yeah. Okay, and that was my showcase of the game and of the heroes. I will not go through these heroes now. There are even more heroes, and you can see they have different health here. No, actually they all have the same health except for the warrior, who has 1 more. Okay, then was that. But here you have a little bit more like the classics, like warrior and mage, archer, rogue, and paladin, right? So it's pretty classic. I will not go through these yet now, because we will look at these heroes for this playthrough, for this series. But I hope that I will get the first iteration of the game quite soon in physical form, and then we might do another playthrough with this one here, with these heroes. I hope you don't hear somebody is doing some work out there, so you might hear that, but I'm gonna end the video now anyway, so you probably won't hear that too much. Alright, that was my little showcase of One Deck Dungeon Forest of Shadows regarding the heroines. So please go to the poll and vote and put your thoughts in the comments. Tell people that you know that might be interested in such a series, or that just like voting on stuff, because it would be really great getting all your opinions on what I should play through with. And also let me know in the comments of the poll what kind of name would be cool for the character, right? Because we will have to come up with a name. So I don't know if I will just choose a name that I like, or maybe I will use a name generator. Or, I mean, if you find a really cool name or funny name, something with a pun maybe or anything, I would be really glad to use that as well. So that would also grant you maybe a little shout out on the channel. So get creative, vote, and maybe suggest some cool names or funny names. I like the funny ones a little bit more. And that is all for this video. If you're still watching, thank you very much for doing so. I hope you will enjoy this little series, because it's a wonderful little solo game. And if this is the first of my videos you're watching, why don't you head over to my channel? There's lots more videos there, so why don't you check those out? I'd love to see you there. And apart from that, thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the very next video. Alright, take care everyone, and cheers.